The message arrived on a Tuesday morning, transmitted across 17 light-years in perfect condescending universal standard. Admiral Torres read it twice before calling the emergency session that would reshape the galaxy. The Dominion of Vex demands immediate and unconditional surrender of the human species, she announced to the assembled War Council. We have 72 hours to comply, or they will commence what they term cleansing operations. General Brooks leaned forward, his weathered face grim. Their fleet? 12,000 warships, each one the size of our largest dreadnought. Torres paused, letting the numbers sink in. Intelligence estimates they could glass every inhabited world in the Sol system within 6 hours. The room fell silent. Humanity had always known this day might come. For 3 centuries they had watched other species kneel before the Vex Dominion, trading freedom for survival. The Altarians had lasted 4 hours. The proud Centauri Federation had held out for 2 days before their leaders broadcast their submission across every channel. What does Command recommend? Asked Director Kim from the Research Division. Torres smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. That we remind the galaxy why humans are still here when so many others are not. The Vex had ruled for 10,000 years, expanding their empire through overwhelming force and strategic terror. They conquered not through complex tactics, but through sheer undeniable might. No species had ever successfully resisted them for more than a week. The Vex had made one critical miscalculation. They had studied human military capabilities, but not human nature. When Admiral Corax of the Vex received Earth's response 71 hours later, he almost deleted it as a communications error. The message contained no surrender documentation, no plea for mercy, no negotiation attempts. Instead, it held a single line of text that would echo through galactic history. Come and take it. The Vex Armada materialized at the edge of the Sol system in a display of naval power that should have ended the war before it began. 12,000 vessels arranged in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with the energy shields that had protected them for millennia. They found Earth's defenders waiting. The human fleet numbered barely 300 ships, a pathetic force that Corax almost felt embarrassed to destroy. But as his sensors swept the system, something felt wrong. The human vessels hung motionless in space. No attempts at evasive maneuvers, no desperate charges or last-minute diplomacy. They were simply waiting. All ships, Corax transmitted, advance and eliminate the first human ship exploded. Not from Vex weapons, but from some internal detonation that sent a pulse of exotic radiation racing through space. Then the second ship erupted, then the third. One by one, every human vessel in the defending fleet triggered the same catastrophic self-destruction. Corax watched in confusion as 300 small suns bloomed across his view screen. The expanding clouds of plasma and radiation created a brilliant barrier between his fleet and Earth, beautiful and utterly pointless. Sir, his sensor operator reported, detecting massive energy readings from the inner system. The humans are surrendering, Corax mused. This display is probably some primitive honor ritual before. The first lance of light erupted from Earth's moon. It carved through space like a spear of concentrated starfire, striking the lead Vex dreadnought and boring completely through its shields, armor, and hull in under 2 seconds. The massive warship simply ceased to exist, vaporized so completely that not even debris remained. A second beam lanced out from Mars, then a third from Europa. Within moments, dozens of artificial suns were blazing across the system as human-built, weapons fired with precision that defied physics. Impossible, Corax whispered as his fleet began dying around him. No species has energy output capable of... Sir, the sensor operator's voice cracked with terror. They're not firing from planets. They're firing from stars. In the final moments before his flagship joined the growing cloud of vaporized metal, Corax understood humanity's true response to the ultimatum. They had not built larger ships or stronger shields. Instead, they had done something no sane species would attempt. They had weaponized their own sun. For 3 days, the weaponized solar arrays carved through the Vex Armada like plasma cutters through paper. The humans had turned Sol itself into a directed energy weapon of unimaginable power, fed by the nuclear fires that had warmed their homeworld for billions of years. When the survivors limped back to Vex space, they carried news that sent shockwaves through the Dominion. For the first time in 10 millennia, an entire armada had been annihilated by a primitive species. The humans had not just refused submission, they had demonstrated a level of destructive capability that made the Vex reconsider every assumption about galactic power structures. The war that followed lasted 7 years and reshaped known space. Other species, emboldened by humanity's example, began their own rebellions. The Vex Dominion, once thought eternal, crumbled as worlds remembered what freedom meant. But it all began on that Tuesday morning, when humanity received an ultimatum, and responded not with surrender, but with the light of their own star turned into a weapon of war. The galaxy learned that humans possessed something more dangerous than ships or shields, the absolute refusal to kneel before tyranny, regardless of the odds. The heavens themselves had burned at humanity's command, and the age of empire was over.